Shalom. First, I want to start off by saying all praises, honor, and glories to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakadash. It's all praises to the world, cause God, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh, Bahashem be the name, Yahweh Shai be the name of the only begotten Son. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, peace and mercy to the hopeful elect. I'm going to start off right here. Copyright disclaimer under Title 17 in the U.S. Supreme Court, Section 107. Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing a nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. So let's get into this. Lord willing, this be edifying.
Respond forcefully after claiming Iran violated their ceasefire agreement. The IDF saying missiles were launched from Iran after the midnight deadline imposed by President Trump.
In just the last few minutes, Israel ordering high-intensity strikes against regime targets in the heart of Tehran, and this violation of the deal comes less than an hour before the President of the United States is expected to leave for the NATO summit. You're watching Fox and Friends First on a Tuesday morning that is moving very, very rapidly. I'm Todd Pyro.
And I'm Carly Shimkitz. Let's get right to Mike Tobin with the very latest on the ground in Israel. And Mike, here we go again.
Well, things are moving very fast, Carly and Todd. Iranian state
This nigga looks like a fucking thumb.
TV now denies that they will that the Iranian government, the Iranian military, was responsible for those one or two missiles that went into Israel's north. We're still looking to confirm the specific number on that. Now, that missile was intercepted and landed without injury, but not without consequence. As you mentioned, Israel's defense minister and the chief of general staff have now vowed fierce retaliation for the violation of a ceasefire that wasn't quite 4 hours old when those missiles came into the north.
Now, they're sitting there talking about this ceasefire. But when you look it up,
the president just posted on Truth Social moments ago saying, quote, a ceasefire has been, quote, fully agreed to by Israel and Iran. There will be a...
Look, and I'll read the post at the top. It says, congratulations to everyone. It has been agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire. And approximately 6 hours from now, when Israel and Iran have wound down and completed their in progress final missions for 12 hours, at which point the war will be considered ended officially. Now, you go into this, and you see this article down at the bottom, and I had to look it up. It says Iran has not. Let me pull this in. Kamini. This is from his what is it? Twitter, right? Those who know Iranian people and their history know that Iranian nation isn't a nation that surrenders. Iran has not received any ceasefire proposals, senior official says. So let's go to CNN. Where I got it. Look at this. June 23rd. And it says, June 23rd, Israel-Iran conflict. Where's it at? I want to get exactly where it is. Let me go back. Because it says it right here. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said there was currently no ceasefire agreement with Israel, but said Iran would halt its military. Iran officials tell CNN Tehran never received ceasefire proposals. It says Iran said ceasefire. Oh my gosh, bro. Iran said ceasefire with Israel came into effect On Tuesday morning, after firing its last round of missiles, Iran state media reported an Iranian official claimed that Tehran never received a ceasefire proposal and saw no reason to end the war with Israel and the United States, the official told CNN Monday. You see, there was no real agreement. This is Esau literally setting up a framework to justify more action. And what's more, is trying to villainize Iran as though they're just this rogue player. But they never received anything, right? This is Psalms 55:20. It says, he had put forth his hand against such as be at peace with him. He had broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. And that's what this was. It was a calculated media presence of a fake deal that never really happened. And now they sat there and said, and let me grab it. They sat there and said this, right? It says, breaking Israel detects missile launch from Iran heading to Dimona. And that's where, all them Jakes back in I think it was back in the 70s or something like that, that went all to Israel thinking that they was going to reclaim the land. That's where they put them at. It says where Israel's nuclear site is allegedly located. This comes after the ceasefire in Iran went into effect, according to Trump's announcement. Right? And if there was a ceasefire, it wouldn't just be one party's announcement. There would be a press conference from all three, but we haven't heard anything from Iran talking about a ceasefire because it never was. It never was. And the whole fake report of them shooting missiles over to Dimona, that was a calculated measure. So this devil said all these things, but war was in his heart. He was always plotting, right? The scriptures tell you, what's that one? There's one in Apocrypha. Nice. What is it? Because it talks about watch how you move around a mighty man, so thou do not distrust the fear of death. Basically, you going away with a nigga that's all about taking blood. Maybe that's what it is, bloody man. You going away with a man that's used to taking blood, and you think that you're gonna make a deal. You walking into the trap because this nigga's always ready. He's ready to spark off, and these devils have constantly broken their covenants. So what's the point of making one in these times? And these nations know that, right? What is that scripture? It says, Sirach 12:10. It says, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. And that's what the world is finding out with these small ass with these Edomites, you can never trust them. It's just like rust to steel, rust to iron. It's sure as shit, right? At some point, there's going to be some type of rust that seeps in. The same thing with these devils, that it's a sure thing that they're going to sit here, right, and do some wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust had not been altogether wiped away. Right? And these plots and these plans, these false agreements and all this, is nothing but that. They're literally controlling the narrative, right? Using the media to sit here and put out an accusation, and then they're striking right away. It says, set him not by thee, least when he had overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, least he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remembered my words and be pricked therewith. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or such as come nigh unto wild beasts? And this is why I personally don't I don't feel no negative thought. I don't feel no remorse or no sympathy toward these heathen that have lived in this delicious state with these damn heathen, these Edomites, these small hatters, especially them Palestinians. I don't feel nothing for them, man. Remember, the scriptures tell you that these heathen sat there and said, is not this the day we look for? When Israel went down and then they parted our land. And now after what? 400, 500, 600 years of them being able to take our land. And then since 1948, when them small hats got in there and they were making all these pacts and agreements, that they're surprised that they got down with them, how they dealt with the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. I don't feel nothing sorry for you. You looked at us and thought you was impervious to what we got. Fuck y'all, man. Who would pity a charmer, man? Y'all played with the snake and you got the fangs, man. But at the end of the day, these devils are going throughout the earth, right? Deceiving and otherwise justifying their bombing of these nations, and just picking up a whole new avenue for them to do this stuff and forward their agenda, because they have certain minerals that are needed for superconductors, supercomputers, and for hypersonic missile alloys all throughout Iran. So it makes sense that they're doing these things. And I was watching the elder, let's get it real quick, the elder Malcolm's video. Where's it at? I was watching Elder Malcolm's video, and in the last couple minutes, I would say from 21 minute mark, this woman starts going into the information about how China refused to have America deal with their minerals and that asset, that they signed deals that they're not able to use them for any military equipment. So it killed them. So now they have to go into Iran to do these things to even be able to have a fighting chance. This is what's been going on. Right? So this devil, he's about to go on a tirade, man. But I just want to bring up this information, and Lord willing, this is edifying. Shalom.